everyone, thanks for coming back to the BNS channel. My name is Edie and today is May the 4th, 2021, and I am celebrating my 4-year surgiversary. That's exciting. So if you don't know what a surgiversary is, you know, we have anniversaries for everything. A surgiversary means that I had my gastric bypass surgery on May 4th of 2018. The day that changed my life, to be honest with you, because I lost 124 pounds total. I have gained a little bit back. We've talked about that recently, but not enough to make me regret it at all. I've gained back about 12 pounds. I think there's some fluctuation in there, whether it's being water retention, menopause, not going poop, all kinds of reasons. And, you know, some of my lifestyle habits are different now, and I'm also able to eat a little bit more at 4 years out. So, listen, there's a lot of mindset games going on. It's a lot of trying to determine what a new normal is. 2020 was not normal, so that didn't help either, right? You know, I think we all have dealt with some things off and on in the last year or so, and I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm not disappointed. I do have my days of frustration. Totally do. And that's just because of the decisions that I make. And sometimes my decisions are very rash. I run a very, the word run is important here. I run a very fast-paced life. I'm constantly on the go. If I'm physically not moving, my mind is moving. So I'm like, if you know what dressing your truth is or living your truth with Carol Tuttle, look it up first of all. Secondly, I am a type 3 with a secondary 1. Those are the highest moving types that there are. And you put them together, and guess what? You get me. There's a lot happening all the time. And when I'm sitting idle, I don't know who I am. I struggle with that. So what do? When you don't know where you are, you're frustrated, you're bored, you're emotionally eating. And that's what I do. So we're working on it. It's hard, but we're working on it. So 4 years out, what does that look like? For somebody who's just going into surgery, thinking about surgery, maybe just had surgery, and you're kind of looking ahead and saying, oh gosh, what happens at 4 years? Well, I will say that there is still restriction on my stomach, and I had the gastric bypass, so it's going to be a little bit different than somebody who had the sleeve, just so you know. There is still restriction on my stomach. In other words, when I eat, I still can't eat an entire full plate. I just can't. And if I do, I get sick. Or if I try, I get sick. Meaning that I need to vomit because there's no place for it. It starts coming up. So there's still restrictions. So that is a tool that I still can use. As far as the types of foods that I can eat, if I eat too much sugar, I get sick. I have super high palpitations. I have a tendency to have tachycardia anyway with my AFib, and so I feel like that's what it targets on. So what they call dumping is palpitations. I have severe palpitations. Like I can get into the 160, 180 beats per minute, or beats per minute. Is that right? Anyway, heart rate. And I'm just sitting. So I feel like I'm running, and so I run out of breath. I yawn a lot. So when and because of the type of person I am, I suppose that's where it's going to go, right? It's going to speed me up. So, you know, I try not to do a lot of sugar. Greasy foods, still have a little hard time with that. I can do them in moderation, but if I try to sit and have like an entire fried chicken, it ain't happening. Not the best choices anyway, right? Not the best choices anyway. The other thing is I have a hard time with dry stuff. So if something is too dry, dry chicken, dry bakery, just dry. I have a really hard time digesting that. It feels like it's getting stuck. Salad I can have, but it has to have a lot of sauce, and so, or dressing, and so therefore I'm kind of depleting the purpose of having the sauce and the salad in the first place. Other things that I'm still struggling with, that I'm okay with struggling. So in other words, as part of that restriction, is how fast I eat. So if I eat too fast, I still get sick. A lot of times it's just a huge uncomfortable feeling in my stomach, almost to the point of painful, like you've just eaten way too much. And in my case, it's usually way too fast. So those things are still an issue for me. If I would give somebody some advice, if I was to give you one piece of advice, if you were just starting out or you're thinking about doing it, getting the surgery, I would say just don't reintroduce the bad stuff. There's no need to. There's no need to. Your body will accept, for the most part, whatever you introduce to it as food. So if it's bad foods, then you're going to start craving them again. If it's good foods, then you crave the good foods. I will say, since surgery, one of the things that I crave a lot is fruit. Like, I crave fruit all the time. Like, I crave the moisture from it, the water from it. I crave the taste and the sweetness. And so fruit is usually my biggest go-to. And it's hard to get fresh fruit up here, which kind of stinks. But when we do, I usually stock up. What else can I share with you? Just don't reintroduce them. Like, I still don't ever drink alcohol. I have not even had a sip since surgery. I have tried carbonated beverages. I don't do them much because they can cause issues. Like, they make you feel full and bloated, and that's usually after like 3 or 4 sips. And I always was a soda guzzler as well as a water guzzler, and you can't guzzle anymore. Like, I can't guzzle anymore. So you just get used to a new way of doing things. That's all. When you learn to eat cookies the first time, it was new. It wasn't something that you ever had in your body, so your body adjusted to it. So don't introduce the cookies again. Because after surgery, you'll have gone 2 months without having that kind of stuff in you. 2 months is a nice time to set a good habit, right? It only takes 28 days to set a habit. So don't do yourself a favor and just don't reintroduce those things into your diet. You don't need them. You don't need them. So you can make the choice to not want them and not have them. You just have to say, like, when I quit smoking, my favorite saying was, I'm not a smoker. I don't smoke. That's not what I do. Something I learned this past weekend, which was so powerful, because I tend to do it, but I didn't realize that I was doing that. So, like, if you go to a restaurant or if you're with friends, so we have a lot of peer pressure around us, whether we want to admit it or not, and whether other people want to admit that they are the pressurers. It's just part of society. So when you go to a friend's house and they're offering cookies and cake, if you say to them, no, I can't, I'm on a diet, you will almost always get a response of, oh, well, it's just one cookie. It's not going to hurt you. You can have a bite. But if you respond and say, I don't eat cookies. I don't eat cookies. I don't eat cake. Most of the time, they're not going to argue with you. It's like saying, you know what? I'm diabetic. They're not going to argue with you if you're diabetic and you're not eating sugar. If you say, I don't eat it, or I have, I don't eat gluten, I can't eat gluten. Or people don't argue with you when you say stuff like that. Say, I can't have sugar. Or I don't want it. Period. I don't like it. Blech. They're not going to argue with you. But if you tell them that you're doing it because you're on a diet, I don't know what it is, but everybody feels that it's okay to cheat. Right? So they're like, it's just one cookie. It's not going to kill you. Yeah, it might. Thank you. So anyway, so that's my 4-year advice for you. I have reincorporated exercising because I feel like that's a good outlet for my energy that I have. And so I'm enjoying that, and I want to continue to enjoy that, and I'm going to wrap my mind around it and feel good about it. You know what? Exercise does not have to be bad. It doesn't have to feel painful. It doesn't have to do all of that. Exercise just means moving your body. Natalie Heckart was a coach. She's my coach. And she actually was a coach on The Biggest Loser. I don't know if you guys remember the episode where she collapsed on the beach from heat exhaustion. And Natalie came in to exercise with her and help her continue on with The Biggest Loser. And she continued on to lose 228 pounds or something like that, with Natalie's help. And so anyway, Natalie's my coach. Love her dearly. And she actually had bariatric surgery herself. Or I don't know if she had bariatric surgery, but she has lost a lot of weight herself. So she's very familiar with how especially bariatric patients have issues like knee issues or back issues or mobility issues. And so she exercises to your ability. And believe it or not, it works. And so I am just all in on that. I just think she's wonderful. And so if you ever reach out to her, make sure you tell her that Edie sent you. She knows me well. Like I said, she's my coach, and I adore her. I respect her tremendously. So yeah, that's all the good stuff. And then so as a bonus, I get to share with you what I did this morning. You saw it in the title. I was cleaning up quickly in my swiftness as I live my life this morning, and I went to go shove something down into the garbage basket, the garbage can. And there, I had fed the dogs this morning. And when I open up the can, I just empty it from the can, put it in their dish, and then I throw it in the garbage. Well, the lid was still attached to the can. You know how you kind of like bend it back, just so that you can get in the can? Well, it was placed just right in the can, and when I went to go push the stuff down, it literally, and it was the most bizarre thing. Like, I'm still in awe about what happened. It sliced. Like, it literally, the round part was at it, and it sliced into my hand. As I was pushing down, it just kept pushing up. And then when I went to take my hand out, the lid was still in my hand with the can. And it didn't even hurt. Like, that's the thing that's so bizarre to me. So I'm on my way to the hospital, believe it or not. I was able to bandage it up myself to get the bleeding to kind of stop. But I'm on my way to the hospital to see if I need stitches. I don't think I do. I really don't think I do, but it's a can. I'm concerned about infection. I'm gonna go get it checked. I feel like an idiot, but what are you gonna do? It didn't hurt. It still doesn't hurt. Like, it literally, there's a little bit of a burning feeling in there, but it's probably about that long. You know, it's probably a couple inches long, like the width of the can. But I'm like, what just happened? I mean, I could kind of feel it going in there. It was so quick. Like, I was like pushing down the stuff, and it just went right in. And when I pulled my hand out and the can came with it, I was like, what? Oh my God. So anyway, heading to the ER to see if I need stitches for my hand. And I think it didn't hurt because it's in that fatty part of your thumb, like right below the thumb. I'm assuming, like that muscly part. I don't know. I mean, my thumb still works, so we're still in good. I didn't cut any muscle or anything, but dang it, Edie, slow down. Okay. Anyway, so that's my 4-year update on my surgiversary on having, may the 4th be with you, by the way. Super exciting day today, as we have some releases in Sensi, Star Wars stuff going with May the 4th. R2-D2 coming out. Yep, gotta get him. Anyway, so funny. What a day. What a day. All right, guys, I hope you have an amazing day. I will talk to you later. Love you. I can't do it with my left hand. I usually do it with